Figures don't lie, but liars do figure. Hello and welcome to another installment of our quote series where we address some quote from the vast world and how it relates to the infinite banking concept. My name is Jesse Durham. Welcome to this episode where we will discuss the saying, figures don't lie, but liars do figure. Or it's commonly said, numbers don't lie. Now, whether this quote of figures don't lie is attributed to Mark Twain or the famous statistician Wright, American statistician Carol D. Wright, I'm not sure on the origins, but I believe we've probably heard some variation of men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. Now, how we could use this quote of numbers don't lie with an infinite banking lens is, let's take, for example, the mortgage. So in the discussion of buying or renting, owning, I often ask folks to look at, if they already have one, their mortgage statement, and let's see what amount of the payment goes to interest and what amount of the payment goes towards the principal of the mortgage. Now, what we see is that in the beginning, the greatest amount of volume is paid towards interest, and a mere fraction actually goes towards the principal. Now, yes, as that mortgage continues, it tapers down and those ratios invert where more is going towards principal than is going towards the interest. Now, an interesting concept to consider then is how often do folks move and therefore refinance or get a new mortgage or whatever the case may be. Something changes there. So let's say it's every 7 years, which I don't believe is far-fetched. But regardless of that number, the principal, and this is interesting, we're talking about numbers, and I'm telling you to ignore the numbers for a second to notice the principal. If you pay on a mortgage for several years, all of those first years are going to be the greatest interest paying years. So regardless of how good of a rate, and that's where folks like to focus is, I got a great rate, whether you're talking about, and we're in perhaps the lowest interest environment that we've ever been at in the United States here in 2021. There are talks of negative interest environment. And yet, regardless of how good the rate is, it's the volume of interest that is overlooked. Maybe you do only pay 2%. I doubt it, but maybe you do only pay 2% or 1% or 3% or 5%, whatever the case may be, on your car, on your mortgage, or whatever it is that we could evaluate. But let's look at the volume of interest that you pay. Out of your entire financial footprint, I challenge you to do this. Don't just look at the mortgage. Don't just look at the car that you have financed. Look at how many dollars you pay on a monthly basis in interest alone. I would imagine it would make you sick. I know that when I did that for the first time and I actually looked at how much money was forever leaving my hands, I got downright angry. So I challenge you to do that. I challenge you to really pull every single thing up that's part of your financial footprint right now and figure out just how many dollars you pay in interest, money that's forever going to leave, never to return. I challenge you to figure out what that is. So while folks are talking and arguing maybe even about rates of return and interest rates, we're ignoring the volumes of interest that are being paid out for these cars and homes and different things that are commercially and conventionally financed. Whereas, for those that are practicing the infinite banking concept, and I know that some are vetting the information on this channel, some are in the process of becoming clients, some are already clients. But for those of us that are already practicing the infinite banking concept, if we'll recognize that the three rules are pay yourself first, pay yourself with interest, and recapture the money, it almost becomes a moot point. It doesn't, because we could talk about valuing your money, economic value added. Our capital has a cost to it. But when you are the owner and the payer and when it's all your entity, your system, and it's under your control, and if interest is being paid, it's being paid back into a system that you own and control. Does it matter? I mean, it does matter. But ultimately, you getting that interest back into your family, your household, your business means that those volumes of interest aren't going to others now instead, which allows you to grow and scale whatever it is that you're already doing. So I hope that that's been helpful looking at the numbers don't lie. They may not, but there's more than one story to be told about those numbers, I dare say. While it's so easy to focus on rates of return or interest rates, getting a good interest rate, refinancing to a better number, that's great. I'm not saying don't refinance, but I'm saying evaluate the real crux of the problem, which is we are growing and scaling and capitalizing other people's entities for everything that we have commercially and conventionally financed, instead of doing that for ourselves, becoming our own banker. So I hope that you found this quote helpful. If you have a quote that you'd like to see us cover, make sure to leave it in the comments below. And to have a discussion about how you could implement the infinite banking concept into your household, your business, your investing, you can reach me at 828-817-4223, or you can email durhamtalents@gmail.com. This has been an absolute pleasure for me. I look forward to our next conversation. Have a great day. And
Men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. That's not what happens. It's mathematical.